I'll tell you what, I'd like to kill the son of a bitch who created daylight savings time. And if he's dead, I'd like to bring him back to life and kill him again. From Hollywood, it's the world famous Mojo Elliott here to rap about the stuff nobody really gives a rat's ass about. Rated E for explicit and exceptional. Did you know a woman's favorite song will tell you more about her than anything she'll ever tell you? Very interesting indeed. I'll tell you what, though, if it's a Sabrina Carpenter song, run for your life. All right, if this is your first time listening to the Rat's Ass Podcast, medicate yourselves. Now, chop, chop. Let's do it. All right, here's how we execute the Rat's Ass Podcast. You email your thoughts, observations, comments, and questions to me, and I respond to them. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. Send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. You can listen on Alexa, Spotify, Apple, and most other podcast apps where you like to get your freak on, or you can follow us on our Facebook page, and we'll drop it in every Tuesday and Thursday, and you'll never miss an episode. Like I said, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday. I do not read your emails in advance. I swear I do not. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your email, your name, where you're from, and converts them so I can respond to them rapid fire and on the fly. So the shorter, the better, okay? Let's get into the cheese. Kyle G. from Alexandria, Virginia said, I just read the cheese on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog. You have some really sick thoughts, man. Thank you. Not once have I ever thought about how many jobs exist because people go number 2. Well, it's true. You can read it for yourselves. Go to the Facebook page and connect to the blog. But when you do, you think about it. How many jobs exist because we defecate? We celebrate when we defecate. But anyone who works in a restaurant, think about how many jobs are associated with that. The people who make toilet paper. What about plumbers? How many would exist if none of us dropped a deuce? Fire one up. And take it from there, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be amazed. Daryl B., Little Rock, Arkansas. Based on your recommendation, I binge-watched The Americans, The Penguin, Lincoln Lawyer, Boston Legal, and Dexter. I liked every one, so what are you binge-watching now? Right now, Apple TV, Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a murder mystery. It's very good. HBO Max, The Penguin with Colin Farrell. Did you already say you watched it? Oh, you already watched that, so skip that one. I'm still watching that one. If you haven't watched The Penguin, though, it's really good. It's an 8-part series. The last episode is this Sunday, so wait until this Sunday, and you can binge watch all 8. I think that's the best way to do it. Also caught a documentary on Hulu, Road Diary, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. It was very interesting. This guy's been with his band for 50 years. You talk about loyalty. The band members as well as Bruce. These guys get along, and I guess they went 6 years without seeing and talking to each other, but they got back together, and it was like no time lapsed at all. But it was very interesting to see how this guy prepares for a show, how he did it when he was younger, how anal retentive he was to how less anal retentive he is now. It was a good documentary if you want to check that out. Myra Z., Bakersfield, California. What's the best way to get to know a guy who is quiet and shy? Well, believe it or not, being a quiet and shy guy myself, I know that might be hard to believe, but I think booze, preferably tequila. Yeah, it makes her clothes fall off, but it does his too. But I think what you want to find out with a quiet and shy guy, you want to find out if he's a lovable drunk or an angry drunk. If he's an angry drunk, you got to kick that guy to the curb, period. Not worth it. If he's a lovable drunk, sit on his face and have fun. Cameron F., Mesa, Arizona. What's the best way to handle a difficult female boss? Oh, this is a good one. Oh, yes. Well, you can always quietly quit. I think that's popular to do today, and wait for them to fire you so you get your unemployment, or you can have a little fun. You find a new job and you quit. I really believe life is way too short to put up with anyone who messes with your chi. Over my work experience, I go back and look at difficult bosses, and you would hang in there trying to make them like you. It's not worth it. Not worth it. Just find a new job and quit. But here's where the fun part comes in. You find a new job, you wait for the holiday, hopefully it's close to the holidays, and you quit on the holiday. Chances are they're going to have to work with you. Imagine your difficult female boss planning a huge meal for her family, got relatives coming in, and you quit. she doesn't have time to have somebody fill in for you, so she's got to go. And here's another one. Also, when you quit, you tape a note to a box of condoms with a note that says, are you ready? Write this down. Put one of these on your dick for the next guy you screw out of a job. That's how you have fun. That's how I would do it. But just know you're not getting a good recommendation, though. So tread lightly. Well, if you've already got a new job, who gives a rat's ass, right? All right, Linda P., Katy, Texas. How do I get rid of a guy who is too well endowed? Oh, geez, brag about it. I'll tell you what, tell your girlfriends about him. One of them will backstab you and take him off your hands, I promise. Damien K. from Hanover, Germany says there's an American football game between Carolina and New York this weekend in Munich. Is it worth going? Well, let's find out. Alexa, how far is Hanover, Germany from Munich, Germany?
From Munich, Hanover is 378 miles away by car.
378 miles? No. These teams are 4 and 14 together. They're crappy teams. If it was within walking distance or a couple of miles away, I'd say go, but watch it on TV. That's my recommendation on that for you, Damien. Fleabag Extra. When Fleabag finds an interesting email, I said, we can go past the 6. We'll do 7, and we'll just call it a Fleabag Extra. So here you go. Amy N., Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And this is a fun one, I think. Yeah, looks good. Did you know you can take just about any song lyric and add under the covers, and it will make sense? Try it. Okay, well, I just happen to have my iPod here. Yes, I still have an iPod. The one from 2005. It's got 30,000 songs on it. So let me scroll here, find some songs. All right, how about AC/DC, Shoot the Thrill, Under the Covers? Yeah, I think that works. Let's just randomly take another one here. Jelly Roll, Need a Favor, Under the Covers. Oh yeah, that works. All right, spin it again. Godsmack, Crying Like a Bitch, Under the Covers. I hope not, but maybe it smells like onions? Alice in Chains, Man in the Box, Under the Covers. Indeed. And Weird Al Yankovic, I just popped this into my head. Eat It, Under the Covers. All works. So take your favorite songs and add Under the Covers and see what you come up with, my fiends. All right, that's the cheese. And before I get into the extra cheese, remember to keep your emails coming with your thoughts, observations, comments, and questions. And I'll give you my 2 cents that makes no sense on the next Rat's Ass Podcast. Send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. We do the Gmail, baby. All right, put that thing away. Here comes the extra cheese. Did you happen to see Taylor Swift at last night's Kansas City Chiefs game against Tampa Bay? I thought she was looking a little plump. A little more plump than usual. Could it be that Taylor is preggers with Travis Kelce's baby? I actually had a dream once where they did have a bouncing baby boy they called Pork Chop, so don't ask. But seriously, I looked at her last night and I said, wow, I think Taylor's going to look like Travis Kelce's mom when she gets older. But then I thought, could she be pregnant? Could she be with child? We'll keep an eye on that for you. That's a hell of a rumor to start, though, right? Popular podcaster Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump for president last night. Way to go, Joe, after half of America has already voted early. That's kind of like telling your best friend the girl he banged last night had the crabs after the fact. Social media has been on fire over Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon being euthanized by the government in New York. I got to tell you, the more power you give government, the more they'll overreach and try to control your life. This poor family who cared for Peanut and Fred for several years are no different than any of us who own a dog or a cat. Now imagine the government walking into your house and taking your pets from you because some rat fink made a complaint about them. So this is why I'm going to make a pitch for every American to reject party affiliations and become independent. This way you don't feel obligated to vote with your party, and more, you're looking to vote for the best person for the job. I think that makes more sense. More government means less freedom, period. New York is a Democratic-run state, so let that be your first clue. Bad news for Back to the Future fans. Robert Zemeckis, the director of all three, said there will not be a 4th installment It just isn't going to happen, he said. Apparently, he hasn't heard of AI yet. I know it's November 5th, but let me propose something I think will help you cheer up for Thanksgiving and get you ready for the upcoming silly season that officially kicks off on Black Friday. I call it No News November. Turn that shit off, man. Turn it off all month. Get rid of all the negative vibes and cleanse your frickin' soul. You know, the news will be waiting for you on December 1st if you want to tap back in, but trust me, it's a good thing. I practice it every year. No News November. All right, I know what you're thinking. Who gives a rat's ass? All right, be sure to email what you want me to rap about on the next episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Now, I told you on Halloween I was drinking a sloppy pussy, and I told you I'd tell you what is in it, so I found out. Are you ready? Here it is. Write this down. I'll wait. No, I won't. Tequila, cranberry juice, and there's an additive called Stir, and it's strawberry watermelon, and you just drink it on ice, and that's called a sloppy pussy. Try it. Good holiday drink. I'll tell you, I loved it. I could be hooked on those. I could have a sloppy pussy every night. All right, we'll do this again on Thursday, November 7th, and that's the wrap.